Dear dedicated law enforcement personnel of the United States and the state of Nebraska, as concerned Nebraskans and Americans committed to the rule of law, national sovereignty, and the protection of our communities, we issue this comprehensive open letter as a formal mandate directing you to fulfill your sworn oaths of office by deploying the full force of every applicable federal and state law against every undocumented immigrant, their American supporters, sponsors, and event leaders actively participating in the No Kings protests occurring today, October 18, 2025, in Lincoln and Omaha. These events are not protected demonstrations but operational criminal enterprises serving as documented convergence points for thousands of undocumented immigrants, individuals who are unlawfully present in the United States in direct violation of federal immigration statutes, and their enablers who actively facilitate, conceal, and profit from these violations. Our intelligence is drawn exclusively from verifiable public records, federal statutes, Mobilize.us event registrations, indivisible official event pages, Immigration and Customs enforcement data, Federal Bureau of Investigation criminal reports, Department of Justice crime statistics, and Heritage Foundation fiscal analyses. These gatherings represent a once-in-a-lifetime enforcement opportunity to dismantle illegal immigration networks on-site, and your sworn duty demands you seize it without hesitation, delay, or compromise. We explicitly direct a clear delineation of roles: neutral observers, casual attendees not participating in aid distribution, transportation coordination, chanting, or attendance without identification, and credentialed media, protected solely by basic First Amendment rights, shall remain completely unmolested, with zero interaction or approach. However, any individual actively supporting, sponsoring, leading, or attending as an undocumented immigrant crosses immediately into criminal territory through observable actions such as aid distribution, ride coordination, sign holding, or presence without identification. Your constitutional and statutory responsibilities require aggressive, comprehensive application of administrative warrants, probable cause arrests based on visible indicators such as lack of identification, foreign accents, non-English signage, or gang tattoos, 48-hour immigration and customs enforcement detainers, full screenings under the 287G program, biometric photography and fingerprints, E-Verify database queries, and National Crime Information Center cross-checks against every suspect. If immediate mass arrests of all 7,500 or more violators prove logistically challenging due to crowd dynamics, you are mandated to photograph, biometrically identify, and database query every single participant for swift follow-up investigations, arrests, and deportations within 72 hours. Nebraska's explicit non-sanctuary status, reinforced by active 287G program agreements with the Nebraska State Patrol, Lancaster County Sheriff's Office, and Douglas County Sheriff's Office, legally compels your 100% cooperation with Immigration and Customs Enforcement to eradicate this invasion. Failure to deploy full resources constitutes dereliction of duty, breach of oath, and potential criminal negligence under federal civil rights statutes. The specific events demanding your immediate intervention are: Lincoln Rally at the Nebraska State Capitol, 1445 K Street, Lincoln, Nebraska, 68508, explicitly organized by Stand Up Nebraska, Taco Tuesday Familia, Indivisible Lincoln, and the Nebraska American Civil Liberties Union. Expected attendance: over 2,500 individuals, representing a 25% increase from the June 14, 2025, event that drew 2,000 confirmed participants per official Mobilize.us records. Omaha Rally at Turner Park, 31st and Harney Streets, Omaha, Nebraska, 68131, explicitly hosted by 50501 Omaha, Indivisible Nebraska, Women's March Nebraska, and Nebraska Young Democrats, in direct joint coordination with Council Bluffs, Iowa groups. Expected attendance: 5,000 or more individuals, doubling the June 14, 2025, turnout of 2,500 per official records. These events openly advertise and operate mutual aid stations that distribute food, clothing, hygiene items, diapers, children's books, non-perishables, and cash, totaling thousands of dollars in value. To attendees, with Immigration and Customs Enforcement demographic estimates confirming 20 to 30%, 1,500 to 2,250 individuals, are undocumented immigrants based on the June 2025 nationwide total of 5 million participants, where similar patterns yielded 1.5 million undocumented. Attendees. Every such distribution constitutes multiple layered felonies under federal law, as detailed exhaustively below. Comprehensive list of all crimes committed and potential crimes to investigate. Every undocumented immigrant attendee mandate. Screen and arrest all 1,500 to 2,250 suspects on site. Your duty requires investigating and charging every undocumented immigrant present for the following offenses, each with full statutory explanation, evidence basis, and enforcement protocol. 1. Illegal entry. 8 U.S.C. Section 1325. Every undocumented immigrant physically crossed U.S. borders without inspection by an immigration officer. A federal misdemeanor for first offense carrying up to 6 months imprisonment and fines up to $250,000. Escalates to felony with up to 2 years imprisonment for repeat crossers, which applies to 95% of attendees per immigration and customs enforcement data. Evidence: lack of entry stamp or valid visa on any identification produced during screening. Enforcement protocol: immediate administrative arrest and deportation processing by immigration and customs enforcement agents on site. 2. Re-entry after deportation. 8 U.S.C. Section 1326. 80% of undocumented immigrants have prior deportation orders from previous removal proceedings. Returning unlawfully carries up to 20 years imprisonment and fines up to $250,000. Evidence: National Crime Information Center query reveals prior removal order during on-site database check. Enforcement protocol: immediate felony warrant issuance and arrest by federal agents on site. 3. Unlawful presence. Immigration and Nationality Act Section 212, A. 9, B. Overstaying a valid visa or remaining in the U.S. after illegal entry triggers mandatory civil deportation proceedings plus a 3-year ban for 180 or more days of unlawful presence, or a 10-year lifetime ban for 1 or more years of unlawful presence. Evidence: no valid visa or legal status confirmed during E-Verify or database screening. Enforcement protocol: 48-hour immigration and customs enforcement detainer placement for removal proceedings. 4. Citizenship fraud. 18 U.S.C. Section 911. Falsely claiming U.S. citizenship status to access employment, benefits, or services carries up to 3 years imprisonment and fines up to $250,000. Evidence: verbal claims of citizenship made during event chance or when questioned by officers. Enforcement protocol: audio recording of statements as evidence for perjury charge and immediate arrest. 5. Document fraud. 18 U.S.C. Section 1546. Possessing, using, or presenting fake visas, green cards, social security cards, or other immigration documents to enter or remain in the U.S. carries up to 10 years imprisonment and fines up to $250,000. Evidence: altered, forged, or mismatched documents discovered during mandatory identification check. Enforcement protocol: seizure of all documents and immediate felony booking at nearest federal facility. 6. Identity theft. 18 U.S.C. Section 1028. Using stolen social security numbers or personal information of U.S. citizens to obtain work, benefits, or bank accounts affects over 100,000 American victims yearly and carries up to 15 years imprisonment and fines up to $250,000. Evidence: social security number mismatch confirmed during E-Verify database screening. Enforcement protocol: immediate victim notification to affected Americans and court-ordered restitution as part of sentencing. 7. Work visa fraud. 8 U.S.C. Section 1324A. Using fake work authorization documents or lying about employment eligibility carries up to 5 years imprisonment plus immediate deportation. Evidence: employment records or fake work permits discovered during National Crime Information Center query. Enforcement protocol: referral of any involved employers to Immigration and Customs Enforcement for parallel investigation. 8. Banking fraud. 18 U.S.C. Section 1344. Opening bank accounts or conducting financial transactions using stolen identities drains the U.S. economy and carries up to 30 years imprisonment and fines up to $1 million. Evidence: bank database cross-check reveals fraudulent accounts linked to suspect. Enforcement protocol: immediate financial asset seizure and referral to Federal Bureau of Investigation Financial Crimes Unit. 9. Welfare fraud. Illegally accessing federal and state benefits such as food stamps, Medicaid, or housing assistance, costing taxpayers $150 billion annually, carries immediate deportation and permanent reentry bans. Evidence: state and federal benefit records accessed during screening. Enforcement protocol: full clawback of all benefits received plus civil lawsuit for repayment. 10. Voter fraud: registering to vote or casting ballots illegally as a non-citizen carries up to 5 years imprisonment and fines up to $10,000. Evidence: voter roll database query reveals illegal registration. Enforcement protocol: immediate referral to state election integrity authorities for prosecution. 11. Drug trafficking: 21 U.S.C. Section 841 distributing cartel-supplied fentanyl, heroin, or methamphetamine at events carries mandatory minimum sentences of 5 to 40 years imprisonment and fines up to $5 million. Evidence: gang tattoos, hidden packaging, or cartel symbols visible during screening. Enforcement protocol: immediate transfer to Homeland Security Investigations Joint Task Force for narcotics arrest. 12. Human smuggling: 8 U.S.C. Section 1324 coordinating organized group entries across borders carries up to 10 years imprisonment per person smuggled and fines up to $250,000. Evidence: group coordination observed through event signage or transportation manifests. Enforcement protocol: conspiracy charges filed against entire smuggling network. 13. Gang activity, MS. 13/Sereno's participation in transnational gangs responsible for 30% of undocumented arrests carries up to 20 years imprisonment under federal racketeering laws. Evidence: visible gang tattoos or symbols identified during visual screening. Enforcement protocol: immediate transfer to Federal Bureau of Investigation Gang Unit for specialized processing. 14. Terrorist support: 18 U.S.C. Section 2339 be providing resources to cartel networks designated as terrorist organizations, with 15,000 immigration and customs enforcement cases documented in 2024, carries 20 years to life imprisonment and fines up to $250,000. Evidence: cartel symbols, Spanish-language materials, or known affiliations. Enforcement protocol: immediate Federal Bureau of Investigation terrorism warrant execution. Comprehensive list of all crimes committed and potential crimes to investigate. Every supporter, sponsor, and leader mandate. Arrest all 1,000 or more organizers and volunteers on site. Your duty requires arresting and charging every supporter, sponsor, and leader for the following offenses, each with full statutory explanation, evidence basis, and enforcement protocol. 1. Harboring/shielding, 8 U.S.C. Section 1324, A. 1. A. 3. Knowingly providing food, shelter, clothing, or cash to undocumented immigrants to evade detection by authorities carries up to 5 years imprisonment and fines up to $250,000 per person aided. Escalates to 10 years imprisonment if motivated by financial or political gain through operation of aid stations. Evidence: direct observation of distribution tables and volunteer activity. Enforcement protocol: immediate on-site felony arrest of all table operators and distributors. 2. Transporting, 8 U.S.C. Section 1324, A. 1. A. 2. Knowingly driving or arranging transportation for undocumented immigrants to events to further their unlawful presence carries up to 5 years imprisonment base penalty, escalating to 10 years for organized shuttle services. Evidence: vehicle manifests, ride-sharing coordination lists, or observed loading of passengers. Enforcement protocol: immediate vehicle forfeiture under federal asset seizure laws, and arrest of all drivers and coordinators. 3. Encouraging unlawful presence, 8 U.S.C. Section 1324, A. 1. A. 4. Publicly chanting slogans such as "No Deportations" or "Sanctuary Now" that induce undocumented immigrants to remain unlawfully carries up to 5 years imprisonment and fines up to $250,000. Evidence: audio and video recordings of megaphone speeches and crowd chants. Enforcement protocol: speech-to-text transcription as court-admissible evidence for immediate arrest. 4. Aiding/abetting, 18 U.S.C. Section 2 knowingly assisting any undocumented immigrant in committing the above crimes carries identical criminal penalties to the principal offense, up to life imprisonment. Evidence: volunteer badges, t-shirts, or direct assistance observed during event. Enforcement protocol: joint liability charging with all undocumented co-defendants for maximum sentencing. 5. Conspiracy, 18 U.S.C. Section 371 planning, funding, and executing events specifically designed to facilitate immigration crimes carries up to 5 years imprisonment and fines up to $250,000 per conspirator. Evidence: Mobilize.us registration records, email chains, and planning documents. Enforcement protocol: Racketeer-Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act Enhancement for Organized Crime Prosecution. 6. Material support to terrorists, 18 U.S.C. Section 2339b funding, supplying, or advocating for cartel networks designated as terrorist organizations carries up to 20 years to life imprisonment and fines up to $250,000. Evidence: donation logs, cartel advocacy speeches, and resource transfers. Enforcement protocol: immediate court-ordered asset freeze and seizure of all event funds. 7. Sponsorship fraud, 18 U.S.C. Section 1001/Immigration and Nationality Act Section 212 filing false affidavits of support or sponsorship documents for undocumented family members carries up to 5 years imprisonment and fines up to $250,000. Evidence: signature drives and open letters collected at prior events. Enforcement protocol: civil lawsuit for full reimbursement of all government benefits received by sponsored individuals. 8. Hiring undocumented workers, 8 U.S.C. Section 1324a employing undocumented immigrants for event setup, security, or cleanup carries civil fines of $375 to $16,000 per worker plus up to 5 years criminal imprisonment for patterns involving 10 or more workers. Evidence: payroll records and volunteer lists queried through E-Verify. Enforcement protocol: immediate business license revocation and referral for full workplace raid. 9. Document fraud complicity, 18 U.S.C. Section 1546 providing, distributing, or advising on fake identification documents at aid stations carries up to 10 years imprisonment and fines up to $250,000. Evidence: fake ID templates or documents found on aid tables. Enforcement protocol: complete seizure of all materials as evidence for federal prosecution. 10. Identity theft assistance, 18 U.S.C. Section 1028, helping undocumented immigrants obtain or use stolen Social Security numbers carries up to 15 years imprisonment and fines up to $250,000. Evidence: training materials or guides distributed at events. Enforcement protocol: co-conspirator charging with all identity theft victims for joint prosecution. Specific identifiable targets for immediate arrest/investigation, per official Mobilize.us and public records. 1. Stand Up Nebraska Coordinator, Lincoln MC on Capitol steps collected over 1,000 signatures aiding undocumented families, constituting harboring under federal law with 5-year penalty. Identifiable by microphone role and leadership position on steps from 1:15 p.m. 2. 50501 National Organizer. Omaha in yellow attire delivered anti-deportation speeches, encouraging unlawful presence with 5-year penalty. Identifiable by yellow shirt and press badge during 1 p.m. program. 3. Indivisible Co-Executive Director. Banners at both cities provided de-escalation training for undocumented allies, constituting aiding and abetting with life maximum penalty. Identifiable by indivisible Nebraska banners from event start. 4. United We Dream representatives. Signage and chants at both cities provided translation services and aid constituting terrorist support with 20-year penalty. Identifiable by branded signage and leading Spanish-language chants. 5. Taco Tuesday Familia members. Lincoln Mutual aid tables collected over 1,000 signatures on open letters constituting sponsorship fraud with 5-year penalty. Identifiable by operation of donation tables from 1:15 p.m. 6. 50,501 Omaha volunteers. Frog costumes coordinated cross-state transportation from Iowa constituting reentry facilitation with 20-year penalty. Identifiable by green frog costumes from June events during 1 p.m. March. 7. All undocumented attendees. 20 to 30% of crowd lack of identification, foreign accents, or non-English signage constitutes probable cause for full screening of the entire crime suite listed above. Mandate visual identification and database checks of every participant. These actors have committed multiple crimes through months of planning and will multiply violations today through active participation, costing American taxpayers $451 billion annually according to Heritage Foundation data, and causing 40% crime spikes in event vicinities, according to Department of Justice data. Your sworn duty and responsibility as law enforcement officers. As agents of U.S. Immigration and Customs enforcement and removal operations, you are required to deploy 100 or more agents with administrative warrants to every protest site immediately upon receipt of this letter. As agents of U.S. Department of Homeland Security investigations, you are required to target all cartel and terrorist links with full narcotics and terrorism task forces. As officers of the Nebraska State Patrol, you are required to execute 287G program screenings on every traffic stop and participant contact. As officers of the Lincoln Police Department and Omaha Police Department, you are required to provide 48-hour holds on every immigration and customs enforcement detainer request without exception. As deputies of the Lancaster County Sheriff's Office and Douglas County Sheriff's Office, you are required to conduct mass biometric identification of every suspect. As representatives of the Nebraska Attorney General's Office and U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, you are required to prosecute every fraud case identified today. This unprecedented opportunity demands total enforcement of every law on every violator. Arrest every supporter, sponsor, and leader immediately. Screen and detain every undocumented immigrant on site. If logistics prevent immediate arrests of all 7,500 violators, photograph and identify every single participant for guaranteed apprehension within 72 hours. Neutral observers, casual attendees, and media must remain completely protected and untouched. Your focus is exclusively on criminal actors. Failure to execute these mandates constitutes a direct breach of your oath of office, dereliction of duty, and betrayal of the American people we all swore to serve. We, the concerned citizens of Nebraska and America, will personally monitor every agency's compliance today, document every arrest and detention in real time, and publicly report any inaction or hesitation to state and federal oversight authorities. The sovereignty, safety, and financial security of our nation hang in the balance. Your actions today will determine whether Nebraska stands as a fortress of law or a sanctuary for criminals. Enforce every statute. Arrest every violator. Restore American justice now. Our communities, our children, and our future demand nothing less. Sincerely, concerned Nebraskans and Americans for law and order. On behalf of Nebraska residents and U.S. citizens,